Hello there. This is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. The card on the left is my sample. The card on the right is what we'll be making today. This is the most easiest sketch in the world. Tremendous amount of possibilities, colors. You can use this with any of our products. So again, that is my sample card. All I did was switch out the embossing folder. That's the greenery embossing folder. And today we're going to be using the textile or tin tile with Dandelion Wishes, and our ink pads are going to be Just Jade and Basic Gray. So I have all of our paper scraps off to the side there. That's the tailored tag punch that you see with the sentiment. And I already have some of the cardstock cut down, but we're going to go in rainbow color with the cardstock that we have there. So to get started, we have a top folding A2 card base, 4 1/4 across by 5 1/2 down. Our image panel is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So the first thing I want to do is get that embossed, which I'm gonna, skip intro, which I'm gonna mess up on because I need to take out that little thin die cutting plate right underneath, but I don't do it. So you'll see me start to crank it through, pull it back out, because I'm feeling that tension there, and then go ahead and fix it. But back to the sketch, you can do anything with this. It's great for when you have no mojo, which I really don't this week. And who knows about next week, but we're going to wait because I really have no idea what I'm going to do. So I'm laying down the smoky slate cardstock with our sentiment from Dandelion Wishes, and I'm going to ink that up in Basic Gray, and I'm making sure that it is straight on my Stamparatus lid. Even if that's not straight, you can angle the punch to make it straight in a sense, but I'm going to take that back. I don't think with this punch, just because of how it's designed, the tailor tag. So I'm stamping that up twice, or inking it twice, laid it down, clean it off real quick, and then we're going to grab the punch and punch it out, and it's that simple. There's our sentiment. Boom, we're done. And now we are going to move on to the image panel, since I had the Stamparatus out, and that's the only stamping on this card besides the inside. Measurements, dimensions, everything will be over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com. There's a link directly to that blog post underneath this YouTube description. That got inked up in Just Jade, and I'm laying that down. And now that I look at that, I really should have grabbed something to put in the middle of those dandelions just for aesthetic's sake, but that's how it goes. Okay, so this panel is 4 across by 5 1/4 down. And I need a halfway mark, which is going to be about 2 5/8. And the 5/8 mark is that little teeny tiny mark over the 1 inch. So I'm putting a line all the way through that to give me that point of reference there, so I can start stacking my paper scraps. And this is a fantastic way to use those scraps up too. And it doesn't matter if it's rainbow color or any other colors, monochromatic, nothing. So I'm really super sped up now. That is Magenta Madness. And every paper scrap is going to be a 1/2 inch by 4. So it's going to be 4 long and then a 1/2 inch wide. So I'm cutting that down. And then the reason why I drew that line in the middle, you'll see in a second, but I do have Magenta Madness, Terracotta Tile, Bumblebee, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, and Misty Moonlight. Again, it's that rainbow thing. So we have 6 paper strips. I have a line in the middle there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Granny Apple Green, put adhesive on the back of that. You kind of want to eyeball a little bit where you put the adhesive, because I did all the strips all the way down, knowing I didn't need it. Turning it up was kind of a mess at the end, but I made it through, as you will see. So again, that Stamparatus tool, invaluable. I can't live without it. You gotta have one. I'm laying down the Granny Apple Green below the line to get everything centered up, and then I'm taking the Bumblebee and I'm putting it above the line there. So that way I know it's centered. So that's the Terracotta Tile in the DSP, the 6x6 pad, and I use that for the terracotta and the Just Jade color as well. So again, I'm just putting snail on the back, or I'm sorry, seal. I'll get that right one day. And if it goes over, I'm folding it in and just laying everything down that way on top of that embossed cardstock there. So that's another piece of the Just Jade 6x6 DSP that is going to be Misty Moonlight. I still have to like turn around and look at this for some reason because it's just not. Okay, that is my mess. We can see all that adhesive. And I thought I don't want to like destroy my blade on my paper trimmer, so I went ahead and brought in that mini paper trimmer, which is now a supply item. If you need it, let me know. And to adhere that image panel to the back or to the front. Okay, I'm not going to stop this because I messed up the voiceover. I am using our foam strips like I did last week for the shaker card because we have sent that one piece of regular Whisper White cardstock through a very detailed embossing folder. We've layered paper on top of it with adhesive. It is going to compromise it significantly, so not a lot, but you know, enough to curl and whatnot. So I wanted to make sure I had some really strong foam adhesive on the back rather than just dimensionals that would cover the edges all the way around. And so I did that and laid it down top to bottom, left to right. And I'm grabbing the Stampin' dimensionals now, and I talk about running the line of that pokey tool all the way down. It just helps release paper come off easier. And I have 5 on the back of that, and you see my like little arrow there, so I know which side goes up, because that was like 2 3/4 by 2.5, and I wanted to keep that straight. So I'm placing these dimensionals on the back of that sentiment punch strategically for a reason, because that is going to get anchored on top of our image panel there. And again, I'm bringing the Stamparatus, line everything up. And a lot of times when I have to put something on the front and I need a clear view, I'll put the magnet in between the front of the card and the inside. And what I just pointed out, that panel fits perfectly in between the 2 lines on the left and the right with the embossing folder. And this is super easy, super quick, super fast. We're getting into the home stretch now. Pulled off the backing of the Stampin' dimensionals on the sentiment. I'm laying down some seal just at the very top there. And since I put the dimensionals in the same place on the sides, it'll butt itself up against there naturally, in a sense. And it's easier to lay down that way. But going back to this card is great for a Stamp-A-Stack, beginner stampers, they're new to paper crafting. Again, this sketch is incredibly easy with endless possibilities, layers. You don't have to do rainbow. You can do whatever you want, and that is how simple this is. So thank you for joining me this week. I'm sorry that this was, well, actually this is like a pretty good short, sweet video. Something easy, and I will see you again next week. Please hit like, subscribe, and have a fantastic weekend.